welcome back to Immerset, and today we are going to be making some more candles, but...
Yeah, we started this year, 2026, wanting to launch a Valentine's Day candle, but we stumbled on a problem. And what's that problem?
They didn't melt properly around the edge here.
Yeah, so when we were testing our candles, which was it? Oh, red roses, we wanted to make for Valentine's Day. But when we were doing the burn test, we're finding that, and I'll put a close-up for you guys to see, it's not tunneling, it's kind of tunneling, but this is called hang-up. So hang-up's really when the flame isn't quite hot enough to melt all of the wax, so you get a bit of wax stuck onto the edge of the tin. And I think we were quite lucky because we started in May last year and we did a lot of our testing when, in England at least, we had a really hot summer.
Yeah.
So I think the wax was a bit softer because it was so hot. Even in the house, I think it was mid to high 20s in the afternoon. And what happened, I think the wick we were using, which was a CL8, was okay and it was hot enough to melt the wax. And now in January it's been really cold. We had minus something, didn't we? Bit of snow and all kinds of things. So the wax I think is harder, and it's then the wick's not quite got enough heat to melt all the wax. And what else has happened? We've been quite lucky because we have had good hot throw. And I got a bit excited, and when I tested these, I actually forgot to see how long they'd been curing, and I just lit them. So it was only about 9 days, and they did smell good. So even though they weren't quite melting all the way, and the flame as well wasn't really strong, I'll show you the video of that as well. It's not what I call like a confident flame. It was a bit timid, like not quite burning properly. We still got hot throw, so hopefully with a bigger wick. So what we're going to do this week, or should I say what we're going to do in this video,
Let's try these bigger
is to try a bigger wick, a CL10. So do you want to put the stickers on? So I've got the wax melting, so we're still going to use RCX wax and the same wick, so cotton linen CL wicks, but instead of size 8 we're going to do size 10. And actually I was thinking as well the other day, when we started to test wicks and our 4-ounce metal tins, actually we did that with a different wax. We did it with soy wax and then coconut wax. So we haven't actually done the wick size testing with RCX. We kind of just used the same size, and I think we were just lucky really, because for most scents it's worked. And also now, because we're testing some new scents, they might be harder to burn. They might be a bit more like viscous. You know what viscous means? Like heavier, like thicker. And the wick needs to be able to draw up the wax with the fragrance oil and burn it. And if it can't, then that's when the flame isn't strong enough and we get a bit of this hang up that we have now. So do you want to use that? So we just use this little magnetic wick applicator. Oh, and be careful when you put it. Try to just push it straight down, because even with this, I've found if you don't get it straight down, the wick's not quite in the middle anyway. So
but it's better than nothing.
It's better than kind of when we do it by eye. That's really hit and miss. Have you taken off the little paper tab?
Oh.
Yeah. But it just helps to kind of get it more or less central. Well, that's the way to do it. Okay, lift it up. Yeah, so it's more or less in the middle. I think if you're a bit more gentle, it might be more in the middle. So let's get these out of the way. So this was actually, wow, this is actually from August. So even this one, coconut lime, August was already hot, and this already had hang up. And this is one of my favourite scents, so I was a bit annoyed. And it's now what? It's now February actually. I think I said January before. It's February, 7th of February today, and I still haven't got round to remaking it until today. So that's what happens, because we're doing this around obviously Imogen School and my day job. So we just fit it in as and when we can. And I thought this weekend we really need to do something. Otherwise, look, it's February already. So, right, so what do you want to do first? You want to do red roses. Okay, so I've weighed out 10 grams of each of the fragrance oils already. And our wax is ready. And we're going to do things a bit differently this time because before I would heat up the wax, I think to about, was it 65 or 70? And then by the time we put it into this beaker, it was already cold. So then had to use a hot plate to warm it back up and then add the fragrance oil.
And then cool it down.
Yeah, and before Christmas, my laptop was here and I reached over and knocked the whole beaker of wax onto my keyboard. So I have a new laptop. So yeah, we're just going to avoid that because you just don't want spills. Yeah, so don't keep your computer near your candle making. But there we go.
Otherwise it will get destroyed.
Yeah. Well, I'll fix it one day, but for now I just had to get another one. So I'm going to weigh out. Oh, let's just test the temperature of the wax. Because this 2Auto doesn't have a digital temperature control, it just has a little dial, which is fine, but I want to see. Yeah, it's about 73, so that's fine. It's not too hot for this wax. We're not going to damage it at 73, but I'm hoping what I'll do is weigh straight into this beaker. So we need, for 10%, we're going to do 100 grams. This tin fits 100 grams. So we need 90 grams of wax. So let me decant that out because the beaker will cool it down a little bit. All right, that's 90. So do you want to just give that a jiggle and see what the temperature of the wax is in the beaker? What's it saying?
About 68.
68. Oh, so that hasn't cooled down too much.
But 69.
69. So we want the. Oh wow. So maybe we can turn it down a bit. Because what I'm thinking, well, this is also glass. I think if you put it into a metal container and it's cold, that takes a lot of the heat away. So I'm kind of thinking ahead when we end up making more candles in one go, we're going to be using a metal jug and we might have to warm that up first. Otherwise it makes the
thing cold. Like when we do my lunch, we use my warming pot, so we have to heat it up.
Yeah, there's a little insulated metal lunch pot and I put hot water in to warm it up so that your food doesn't go cold too quickly. All right, so that's already at 64 and we need to add the fragrance oil at 60. And then we're just going to stir for 1 minute because all this time we've been stirring for 2 minutes because everyone's saying stir for 2 minutes, but we're just going to do
now for 63.
Yeah, so it's cooling down. So that's quite good because that gives us enough time to. I'm looking for a spoon. I thought I got everything ready.
There.
Can you reach it? Oh, I can't see it. Ah, there you got beady eyes. So we're going to use. Let's make sure this hasn't got any old stuff on there. It doesn't smell. You might have a little bit, but it was such a small amount. So when that's at 60, we're going to pour in. And another thing we used to do is we used to pour the oil in and then warm it up. But we're kind of using the Candle Shacks because it's their wax. And although these aren't their oils, their recipes say at 60 degrees Celsius to add in the fragrance oil and stir it for 1 minute. They don't say bring the temperature back up, anything. So we're just going to do that. Because again, we want to make it really easy. We don't want all this, oh, we need to heat it back up because it's just, if we don't need to do that, then it's just a waste of time, isn't it?
Do we make the fragrance?
All right, that's ready now. So pour in. Do you want to pour in your, let's move these out of the way. Yeah, pour in your fragrance oil. That's it.
Start mixing.
Yeah, and start mixing this for 1 minute. Go. And it should, you can see it's kind of all...
Merging.
Yeah, it's now gradually mixing in, isn't it? So they say 1 minute, so 1 minute it is. Because I thought it's a good opportunity to just update our process. Okay. So that's red roses.
Have you started the timer?
I have started the timer, yeah. Keep stirring, you've got to stir it nicely. Don't go to sleep. Because you're only doing it for 1 minute, so you've got to make sure that, make that minute count. And then we'll keep the thermometer in because we pour at 38 degrees Celsius. Okay, that's about a minute, so that's good. Then this is at 45, 48, 50. Okay, so that's going to need a little bit of time to cool because it's still at 50 degrees C. So we'll put that just on the side there so you don't knock anything. I'm very paranoid about knocking stuff over now. Right, what's the next one you're going to do? So that's red roses. Coconut and lime. All right, so let me get another bit of wax. I'm going to switch this off now because we're under the wax level, probably. Okay, so you open up another thermometer, please, and just see. Just make sure, have I wiped? I haven't quite got everything off there. Right, see what this is. 20, 65. Okay, so that's cooling down anyway. Won't take too long to get to 60. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll just pop it in. Do you want to get a bit of tissue, please? And then we'll just clean off this spoon so you don't mix the scents. The rose is really nice. Let's just wipe it off for a white roll. There's a tiny bit, but there's be so much more of the honey tobacco.
That'll take over.
Yeah, so we don't need to be too go too crazy. So have you come across this kind of hang up in your candles? And
what do we pour this again?
what do we call it or pour it?
Pour it.
Pour it at 38, so it's at 47. And 38 degrees Celsius seems to be a good temperature for RCX because so far we haven't really had any sinkholes from the first burn anyway. Sometimes when it resets after the first burn it's a bit lumpy, but I think that happens to all waxes. What else? Yeah, it kind of, at that temperature, once you pour it, most of the time it's really nice and smooth and we haven't had to go and kind of remelt it. Actually, sometimes we have, but that's, I think if we didn't want to, it's perfectly fine as well. I think if we just want to make it really, really nice and smooth, we kind of do just give it a touch up. Oh, look, look, I'm chatting away, that's ready. So do you want to pour in your fragrance oil? That was quick. Yeah, and then give that a stir for 1 minute. That's it, just keep stirring because you've only got a minute. Yeah, this is one of my favourites. So if this bigger wick can get, you know, and I think there was hot throw. Yeah, there wasn't a problem with the hot throw, but it just was, I don't think we have, oh, we do have the coconut lime, but there was a lot. That's almost like tunnelling, but maybe 4 millimeters or a
half a millimeter,
an 1/8 of an inch around there, and it's not. I think if we were just making these for fun, it doesn't matter. But if you want to sell them, I don't think customers would want that. Saying that, we've bought shop candles and they've just tunnelled, even though we lit them for hours. So I don't know. Did people? I think because now we're making candles, we know about all these things, but do people care? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But anyway, we want to make them. We want to make them right, don't we? We want really good candles. So what is this now? This is. Oh, what's that one? That's gone off. Let's switch that back on. Oh, 43. So that one will be. That one will be ready to pour soon. So let's keep that to here. No, that's going to be. I think, will we have time? I think we will have time. Let's just go for it. Let me do another Do you want to get the last thermometer out, please?
Now up the spoon.
Yeah, wipe the spoon, please. And then I will get 90 grams of
The
wax.
spoon's warm.
Right, so where's your thermometer? Let's pop it in here. Switch it on. 61, so it has cooled down a bit. But that's fine, we want it at 60 anyway. So I think glass is fine. I think if we use metal, we're going to have to warm the jug up before we put the wax in.
60.
60, okay, so do you want to pour in your honey tobacco? Yeah, let's pour it in. And then give it a stir for a minute. Go. I didn't do any extra, just exactly 10 grams, so we want to get as much as we can. What's this one at? 46? Oh, I think the room is about 18 or 19 degrees. Can you see, has it kind of dissolved in?
There's a few tiny bits.
Still a tiny bit. It's still got half a minute, so I figure if the experts say a minute, I'm not going to argue with that, because they've done all the testing
For us, so we don't need to do
exactly.
it ourselves.
So if it actually needed 2 minutes, I think they would say stir for 2 minutes, or 3, 4, 5, however long.
They wouldn't just say 1 minute, because that wouldn't be good.
They'd want their things to work, right? Otherwise, you'd be like, oh, it's a rubbish recipe. I'm not going to buy their stuff anymore. So, right. So let's whack that in here. How's that one doing? That's 42, 41, 46. Okay. So while that's cooling, what else have we done? Oh yeah, our labels. Should we show our new labels? So we kind of have been thinking about the look of the candles, and one of our tagline, what's it, motto? I don't know what we call it. Tagline is elegant scents, happy moment. So we thought that the big, massive, before we kind of had quite a big sticker on the jars, and we thought maybe it's looking a bit too big, so we've decided to shrink down the size a bit. That one we haven't, but also instead of having kind of either like a solid colour, what solid colours have we got?
Orange and...
Orange. So before we have solid colours, and we thought it does look okay, but
you want it a bit more like fancy.
yeah, a bit different
More
and
attractive.
a bit unique. Yeah, a bit attractive. So when I have some time, I'm going to go through to check the temperature. And this one, I'll
It's
show a
40.
close-up's probably easier. But this is kind of a forest sun. Is that a sunrise or a sunset?
Set.
Forest sunset. And I thought, well, if we do kind of a picture for each design, that would be something different, isn't it? Because I think a lot of people do kind of a plain colour for their
And it's all the same.
label, and it's all the same. There's nothing wrong with it. It does look nice, but we thought, well, let's do, because while we're having this bit of redesign, we just want to get it right now and not have to change later, because I'm going to have to go through and photograph all these things. So every time we change things, we have to do all the photography again. So
Like even with the bigger wicks, we have to...
the bigger wicks we won't have to, but we will, because the label would be different anyway. So yeah, so that's basically what we've been doing in the background. Just kind of thinking, oh, and we're not going to have a lid sticker anymore, because again, if we want it to be a bit more elegant looking.
Because it's elegant.
Elegant scents. So this one, pain au chocolat, we had a pain au chocolat on top and a bit of scent notes, flaky pastry, chocolate and vanilla. I've kind of stuck something on there, but anyway, this is going to not be used anyway. And it was a bit of fun, but we thought, well, let's just keep it neater looking, and it's less effort, because that's one less sticker we're going to have to print and stick on every single candle.
And one less thing we don't have to take our time focusing to stick it properly in the centre of the lid.
Yeah, so it will help speed things up. So we're thinking a bit ahead, like if we're going to have to make a lot of these, we want it to be easy, right? So these are probably switched off. Let's switch that back on. 45. Now, do you want to get some lollipop sticks and then we'll use that. And then I think we'll give them, how long do you want to wait for curing?
Maybe 9 days.
9 days, yeah. I think at least 7 days. We'll see. 7 days will take us to next Saturday.
I want red and red roses.
All right, you do red and red roses then. And then you see that one is a bit crooked, so we just straighten it up so that it gives the candle the best chance to burn evenly. You want that one? Yeah, go for it. And then that one. All right, that's 38. That's more or less 38. It's 38 and a half. So by the time
we actually get it.
Yeah. So do you want to pour that nice and gently? Pour it. Oh, I did give it a kind of a slow note. Nice and gently into there. Yeah. All right. And then get it all in. And we do it nice and gently because you don't want any air bubbles getting in there, because air bubbles are not our friend when it sets. That wick's kind of gone a bit
crooked at the bottom.
A bit crooked. So I bought these wicks as a job lot.
It's already kind of...
Yeah, so it sets really quickly.
There's still a bit more.
Oh, okay.
Stuck
And I think someone is either getting rid of their extra wicks that they're not using or quitting candle making because there was loads of CL wicks in all different sizes. So I was like, we'll buy those, and it's come in handy because if we just had CL8 we wouldn't be able to test. Well, we would do, we have to order in the wicks and then we can test it. But right, so we'll let that one set. I just want to make sure this is as straight as possible so that when it burns that wick kind of is nice and centered.
I wish when we get to the bottom it'll go quick.
Yeah, and that can cause a bit of hang up or tunneling. If the wick's too close to one edge, it won't be a nice even burn. So we want to give it the best chance of working, right? So, and I'm interested to see because usually if you have a bigger wick, it means a bigger flame, which means it's burning the wax faster, so your candle won't last so long. But if we need the bigger wick because it's struggling to burn, it might still be long enough, because this should be about 20 hours of burn time from 100 grams. So, but we'll find out, won't we? When we test it, we'll add up all the little tests. We kind of burn for 3 hours at a time until the end of the candle. That's our standard test. And then we'll add it up. And usually it's about, I think it's a bit under, because you can't actually burn the very end. Where the wick tab is, it won't burn to the end of the tin. But
because there's no wick there.
Yeah, there's no more wick. So there is a little bit. But I think that's good because it goes out safely and then you can't relight it. So even if a customer wanted to try and not burn it again, it won't light. Because I've tested that and it just won't light. I guess there's no more fuel for the wick.
So it's not dangerous.
So what's this one? I didn't label the... I can smell. What's that one?
Coconut and lime.
Yeah, that's coconut and lime. So you want to get the right... Oh, it doesn't matter really. I can just change the label. But right, that's ready. Give it a gentle stir. Coconut and lime. You do the honours. You can see already it's kind of setting a bit.
Even as you pour it, it rises.
Yeah, so we've had a bit of a, not really a setback, but I guess it's kind of all part of the process, isn't it? You test, sometimes it works, sometimes it isn't. Because we haven't used a lot of these scents before. Only coconut and lime, which I knew didn't work from last August already. But red roses is new, honey tobacco is new. We have a couple more that have done hang up, that's lavender and birthday cake. is also doing the same thing, but I thought we'll just test with 3 first with this bigger wick, because if that doesn't solve it, we don't want to have loads of candles that don't work. That's just silly.
So we only try a few at a time.
Yeah, we'll just try a few, and then it should do, right? I mean, if it just needs a bit hotter flame, then this should do it. But if this doesn't do it, we can try a different type of wick called a stabilo wick, which is also good for plant wax. So, but we'll do one step at a time, and I think it's quite, hopefully, yeah, coming up to summer, less people buy candles apparently, so we can use that
Because
time.
not many people want to be cosy in summer.
Yeah, people are out more, aren't they? So I find that with my art display business, it's the same. I've been really busy in January because after Christmas, people have the bare walls again. They've taken all the decorations down. The house is looking a bit bare, so they think, oh, what can we get to decorate? So I was very busy with that, which is why we haven't done a lot of candles in January. But now that's quietened down, which is a pattern I see year after year. So we've got to use that time wisely and get the candles going. And with a bit of luck, maybe as we come into autumn of this year, we'll have things sorted out more. Oh, that's 40. Better wait. All right, well, we'll wait. We'll come back when that's 38. Okay, we're back, and this is ready. Honey tobacco. So I will take out the thermometer, give it a jiggle for what it's worth. And pour that in. So usually once it's set, so tomorrow probably, we'll trim the wick and put lids on to keep the dust out, and also so we don't have all of the smells all together all the time. It gets a bit much. As nice as they are, I don't want to smell them all the time. Okay. Right, that's it. So, thanks for watching. As always, if you've got any questions or comments, do feel free to leave them for us. I'll always answer sooner or later.
Please subscribe and like this video.
Bye.
Bye.